Ouija. The night was thick with fog, swallowing the moonlight before it could illuminate the earth. Cedar Hollow, an abandoned farmhouse deep in the woods, stood as a skeletal remnant of its former self. The peeling paint, creaking floorboards, and shattered windows whispered tales of despair. It was the perfect spot for a dare. 5 college students, seeking a thrill, trudged through the underbrush toward the house. Their breath formed clouds in the November chill as their flashlights cut through the darkness. At the center of their plan was a relic from an old attic, a weathered Ouija board, its wooden planchette polished by countless hands from long ago. "I don't know about this," mumbled Sarah, her voice trembling. Her auburn hair stuck to her forehead, damp from sweat despite the cold. "Come on, Sarah," Mark said, flashing his signature grin. "It's just a board game." The group settled into the farmhouse's decrepit living room, where the air felt thick and wrong, as though it carried an unseen weight. They lit candles, their flames flickering as if resisting the darkness that loomed around them. The board lay between them, its letters and numbers faintly visible under layers of grime. Mark placed the planchette in the center, his hand hovering over it. "Let's do this," he said, his confidence masking unease. They each placed their fingers on the planchette. The room fell silent, the faint rustle of wind outside their only companion. "Is there anyone here with us?" Mark asked. At first, nothing happened. Then the planchette twitched, so slightly they almost missed it. "Stop messing around," said Julie, her voice sharp. "I'm not," Mark shot back. The planchette moved again, this time more deliberately. It glided across the board, spelling Y-E-S. Sarah's hand jerked back. "This isn't funny." "No one's joking," whispered Tim, his wide eyes locked on the board. "Who are you?" Julie asked, her voice wavering. The planchette moved faster now, the movements unnaturally smooth. R-E-V-E-L-A-T-I-O-N. "What does that mean?" Sarah asked, clutching her jacket. Before anyone could respond, the candle flames shot upward, flaring as though they'd been doused in gasoline. The room chilled further, their breaths now visible in puffs. Mark tried to laugh it off. It's probably just a draft. The planchette moved again, this time with violent force, H-E-L-P. "Help? From what?" Tim demanded. Suddenly the floor beneath them groaned, the sound unnaturally eerie. A shadow began to take form at the edge of the room, pooling like ink before rising into a humanoid shape. Its eyes, if they could be called that, were twin voids, swallowing all light. "What the hell is that?" Julie screamed, scrambling to her feet. The entity lunged forward, but not at them. It seized the Ouija board, its shadowy hands clawing at the wood as if trying to destroy it. But the board didn't break. It pulsed with a dim, otherworldly light. The group scattered, their fear overriding any sense of camaraderie. Sarah stumbled over a broken chair, landing hard on her side. Her flashlight rolled across the floor, illuminating words carved into the walls. "Don't trust it." "It's not trying to hurt us. It's trying to protect us," Sarah whispered, her eyes wide with realization. "What?" Mark shouted. The shadow recoiled from the board, emitting a sound that could only be described as a scream from beyond the grave. The planchette started to move on its own, faster than humanly possible, spelling out a warning. "Run! It's here." Before they could process the message, the ground beneath the board split open. A gaping fissure revealed a pulsating crimson light. From it emerged a new figure, something skeletal and grotesque, with jagged, spined limbs and hollow, glowing eyes. The first shadow lunged at the creature, engaging it in a violent clash. Their forms twisted and writhed, the room quaking with the force of their battle. "We need to leave," Julie screamed, dragging Sarah to her feet. As they bolted toward the door, Sarah glanced back. The first shadow, the one that had tried to destroy the board, turned to her. Its void-like eyes seemed to plead before it was ripped apart by the skeletal monstrosity. They burst into the cold night air, gasping for breath. Behind them, the farmhouse groaned and collapsed in on itself, swallowed by the crimson light. Weeks later, they learned the truth. The Ouija board had been crafted not as a tool to communicate with spirits, but as a prison to contain something far worse. And by using it, they had unwittingly released both its guardian and its captive. Sarah couldn't shake the last look from the shadow. It wasn't malevolent. It had sacrificed itself to give them a chance to escape, but the guardian was gone now, and the board was lost in the rubble. Far from Cedar Hollow, in another forgotten attic, a faint red light began to pulse beneath a pile of dust.